I talk about the winter weather, but today not feeling so wintry out there, you know?
No, not at all.
Temperature-wise.
Right. We ended up in the upper 60s today.
Okay, not
too bad. We had a high of 67. In fact, it's been warm and windy so much that we had a wildfire in western Oklahoma. Yeah, and that's where Marty Logan was, or he's still up there, but they've gotten the fire out, which is good news, and that was in Arnett. So now Marty Logan is heading home, and what we were tracking earlier and saying maybe a couple of sprinkles in eastern Oklahoma, a whole lot of that is just kind of going away. But we're still going to keep just a slight chance of a few sprinkles in far eastern Oklahoma. The rest of us will likely end up staying dry tonight. In fact, we saw more of a partly cloudy sky in Norman. This is our Norman regional camera, part of our Lucky Star Skycam network. We're at 65 degrees, and we've got a south-southwest wind at 18 miles an hour. Temperatures range from the upper 40s in parts of Kay County to the upper 50s in the northwest. Still at 71 degrees, though, in Arnett, and some low to mid 60s across the south with a south wind anywhere between 10 to 20 miles an hour. But now in the panhandle, that wind is generally out of the west to northwest between about 20 to about 35 miles an hour. So the wind's picking up a little bit more, and eventually that cold front will be making its way into Oklahoma City somewhere in the metro right around midnight tonight. So it's going to take some time. So if you have any evening plans, it's going to stay fairly mild. It's going to cool off a little bit, but tomorrow afternoon it will be cooler behind the front. We're still going to have more of a northwest wind between 15 to 25. So it's going to be a lot cooler than what we ended up with today, but still very seasonal. So right now, again, we've got this area of low pressure in the northwest, and out ahead of it, very little moisture to work with. So a lot of that's actually falling apart, but still a slim chance of rain in the far eastern half of the state. But behind the cold front, the bigger impact is going to be the drop in temperatures for this weekend. But again, we're talking upper 40s and low 50s. That's very normal for this time of year. We've got another wave moving in on Monday. Right now, it looks to stay in the far northeast, and this one's going to be moisture starved as well. Temperatures still look mild because we will be dry, and eventually we're going to have more of a south wind, so temperatures back to around 60. The next bigger storm system, or at least a little bit more energy to work with, is going to be moving in by Wednesday evening, Wednesday night. It also has a little bit more moisture to work with. So this time we at least have a slight chance of rain and storms that time, Wednesday evening, Wednesday night, but behind it, it's going to be cooling off a little bit. We're looking dry for a while. In fact, eventually it looks nice again with temperatures climbing back into the 60s. So not really feeling a whole lot like January for the time being. So again, for this evening, just a slight chance of very light rain or sprinkles in far eastern Oklahoma. Cold front moves in tonight. Behind it, it's going to be pretty chilly. By tomorrow morning, dropping down to about 32 degrees in Oklahoma City, but 30 in Ponca City, 28 in Alva, 30 in Clinton, and holding on to the 50s and 60s in the far southeast. Tomorrow afternoon, we are expecting more of a partly cloudy sky, a breezy north to northwest wind, and with temperatures in the upper 40s, it's going to feel more chilly. 41, though, in Ponca City, 42 in Miami, 50 in Ada, and about 52 degrees. Tomorrow afternoon in Lawton. By Sunday, a light wind across central and eastern Oklahoma. A little bit more wind, though, in the far west, so temperatures making it into the mid and upper 50s out that way. But 52 in Ponca City, 50 in Tulsa, 53 in Ada, 56 degrees in Ardmore. By Monday afternoon, now that wind is shifting more towards the south and southeast, and that's going to be pushing temperatures into the low 60s again in Oklahoma City. Going with a mixture of sun and clouds again. By Monday, we've got that weak wave moving across the northeast, but I really don't expect any rain with that. So 63 degrees in Hobart, 63 in Lawton, about 65 in Altus. After that, we're going to stay in the 60s for a few days until this next storm moves in by Wednesday. But right now, we're going more towards the evening and overnight hours. A slight chance of rain and storms. Behind it, cooling down for Thursday. Highs in the low 50s. Then it looks a little bit more normal for a couple of days until we start to warm things back up.